Alright, here's one of my favorite popper bass flies. Been very successful the last few years. It essentially is a wounded baitfish shad pattern. You can tie these in any colors you want, but as you can tell, it's a foam head, but it pops on its side. So this is the underneath, as you can tell. So it's swimming frantically on its side. It also has a rattle inside, so it makes extra noise to attract those bass. So it's pretty easy fish to tie. You don't even need to make this a popper. It could be a streamer. You can remove the head. You know, if you tie a bunch of them with the head and you realize you want to go subsurface, you can rip this head off and fish it as it's the regular streamer as well. But let's go show you how I tie it. Gamakatsu B10S stinger hook. I think that's a size 2. So let's go tie these up. Alright. Gonna use this rattle here. This is the plastic rattles from Hairline. That's what they look like. So make a nice noise. Glass ones, I actually think they sound better, but they tend to break, especially if you're popper fishing and you're hitting against walls or stones or boulders and stuff like that. So I tend not to use them. I'm going to be using this Easy Body Natural Pearl, size medium. So what you're going to do is put that in there. Oops, actually I don't want to tie this in quite yet. So start by tying the end of this. Just wrap it a few times, get it nice and tight. This is probably the hardest part of tying this. Give yourself a wrap it. You can super glue it from here, or you can try to do a couple half hitches in there. If you have a hard time doing that, you don't need to do that. You can just super glue it from there. But glue that. Don't complain, because I saw Lee Wolf actually tie without a vise. On several videos, he actually tied without a vise his whole career. And he could tie down to something like I don't know, I forget, it was like a size 30 or something ridiculous. Alright, so get that end, cut it off. Alright, lay your thread down. Doesn't matter really where, just somewhere towards the back half. Cut this to shape. You want to tie this in, so you got to give yourself a little bit of room. Don't cut it directly near. No, that's a little too much. I don't need that much. So you want to hang it out from there. Just give that So super glue the end. So it doesn't unravel. I've never had one of these unravel on me, so I'll super glue that as well. What the hell? So next step is using SF blend. So just grab a handful and you're just going to start stacking this stuff up, tapering it. Now remember that this is going to be swimming on its side, so you want to taper it this way opposed to tapering it this way. So first I like to kind of cut it. Make sure I start covering. I just fold this over. So you want to create some taper there too. But you also want the back end to have less give it a belly, so you want a little less material. You want this side to be a little bit longer, right? So let's make that a little longer. Build in a taper. So we're going to slowly build that up. Move up here. Grab some more material. Grab more material. Kind of help build it up. Stragglers there. Take a look at it, see how it's coming along. Again, you can trim it when you're done too if it doesn't quite look like the way you want it to look. So. So now you want to kind of cover those up, so one on the top. You know, leave some room here in the head to put your popper head on. So next we're going to use some Angelhair. I think this is baitfish color. This is a great material for streamers, particularly for clousers, putting on top of your clousers. Let's see here. Actually, let's go. Love this stuff. Going to be that top color. You can tie these in any colors you want. And this top material could be anything you want to. It could be olive, it could be any dark color. I might want a little bit more than that, just to give it a little bit more pop. So, like, tied this very ugly in terms of the head. It doesn't really matter because you're going to cover it with a big ass eye. I'm using 3/8 eye here. So we can whip finish this out. We're going to clean this up, so looks a little messy, but that's alright. So in reality, all you need is one eye, because that's the bottom eye, because that's the only one that the fish sees. You can add gills if you want to right here, but I'm going to leave them out. I think that's just for the fishermen. Fish don't care, but I like to add 2 eyes just because it looks symmetrically correct. Your eyes. Time for the epoxy. Tend to like to add them in stages, but just so it cures properly. But with this light, it tends to penetrate really nicely. My old lights didn't, so I'm kind of in the habit of just doing it in stages. but I don't think it's really necessary with this particular light because it's so powerful. So just fill that in. To the top side. I like to go around the edges and over it just to really secure it in there. And the top side is more cosmetic than anything. Thin layer on the top side just so the eyes don't come out. Because I'm using Loon, it tends to be a little tacky, so I like to put hard as nail on. Get the tackiness out. Give it some gloss too. Optional step. Alright, the next step is to get 3mm white foam. You could use silver or gray or any other color as well. You can buy this at the fly shop, but if you go to your craft store, they do have these big blocks of 3mm foam sheets you can buy. Probably be more economical. I'm all for supporting local fly shops, but you pay $900 for a fly rod, $100 for a fly reel. You gotta save some money somewhere, right? So I cut a strip, maybe the same diameter, but the same width of the head there. So what you do is you fold it over to see if it's going to fit. And this head could be really any length you want it to be honest with you. Depends on how you want it to dive. So now this fly, if you want it to be finished, it's finished. You can fish it as a subsurface streamer all you want. But I like to make it a diver / popper, so go ahead and tie that in. I've crowded my head a little bit more than I wanted to, but that's okay. You're gonna fold that in. Cool. can add a, I generally don't, but you could add any weed guard, which is probably a wise thing to do. I tend not to fish with too many weed guards. I don't really like them, but that's what your fly's going to look like. You can do some trimming, you know, get it to look. So what it looks like in your fly box. This is what it looks like to the bass who are looking from below. Makes a lot of noise, kind of wiggles tight on a loop knot, and start popping. It'll dive, it'll kind of sink this way, do a bunch of stuff. It's a great fly, I love it. It's been saved me from the skunk many times when things got difficult. So hope you like it. Hope it works out for you. Give it a shot. If you do tie this and catch some fish, go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know. Thanks.